that bloomed in the dark. In a kingdom where the sun had not risen for 100 years, where the sky stretched in endless twilight and the streets were lit only by flickering lanterns, there was a garden unlike any other. It belonged to Lord Adric, a man who had lived in solitude for so long that even the servants in his grand estate spoke of him in hushed voices. His manor sat at the very edge of the abyss, a vast chasm that had swallowed the sun long ago, leaving the world in perpetual dusk. The garden that surrounded his home was once a place of beauty, filled with flowers that drank in the moonlight. But now it was barren. The once proud hedges had wilted, the fountains stood dry, and the roses, his mother's favorite, had long since crumbled to dust. And yet, one fateful night, something stirred beneath the soil. A single bud, small and fragile, pushed its way through the cracks of the lifeless ground. Its petals, dark as ink, shimmered with a faint silver glow, as if kissed by the stars themselves. It was unlike anything that had ever grown in this world without sunlight. When Eadric discovered it the next morning, he stopped in his tracks. His breath caught in his throat. He knelt, brushing his fingers over the delicate petals, half expecting them to vanish like a trick of the light. But they were real. Word of the impossible flower spread through the kingdom like wildfire. People who had long accepted the endless night as their fate whispered of miracles, of magic. Some claimed the flower was a blessing from forgotten gods. Others that it had been planted by the spirits of the abyss itself. Among those drawn to the garden was a young woman named Elara, a healer's apprentice from the village beyond the hills. Unlike the others, she did not reach out to touch the flower, nor did she demand answers from Adric. Instead, she knelt beside it, observing it with quiet reverence. "This flower," she murmured, "it doesn't grow despite the darkness. It grows because of it." Adric frowned. "What do you mean?" She smiled softly, tracing the edge of a petal without disturbing it. "Some flowers need the sun, others need the night. This one, it belongs to both. It has taken the sorrow of this place and turned it into something beautiful." Adric had spent years believing that darkness brought only loss, that nothing good could come from it. But now, staring at this impossible bloom, listening to Elira's words, he felt something shift within him, something he had not felt in a very long time: hope. The people of the kingdom continued to visit, drawn to the flower as if it held a secret they had long forgotten. And then, to their astonishment, more buds began to appear. Not just one, but dozens. The garden that had stood lifeless for so many years slowly came back to life, each new bloom glowing softly in the eternal night. For the first time in an age, the gates of Adric's manor were no longer shut. The once lonely man now walked among his guests, speaking to them not as a shadow of the past, but as someone who had found beauty in what he once feared. The darkness had not taken everything from him. It had given him something too. And so, the garden of Lord Adric became a place of quiet wonder, a place where roses bloomed in the night, their petals whispering a single truth. Not all things that grow in the dark are meant to wither. Some are meant to shine. The end.